Seriously? Hey, what's happening, my fellow Transformers fans? Welcome to this episode of MP Squared Reviews. Thanks for coming back if you are here. If you're not here, I hope you find the video. That's really nonsensical. But first, I want to thank musical artist Ever for the music track playing right now titled Not a Robot. Why not give them a listen on Spotify and a follow here on YouTube and on Instagram at Ever the Music, as you can see here on your screen. Thanks, Joe. So what we're going to look at today is the G1 Misfire from X-Transbots, their MX-LXI Ballistic. This is a Targetmaster that was in both the original American Transformers series as well as the Japanese-only the Headmasters series. So he's a little bit different in both series, and we'll get into that in a little bit. But first, let's take a look at the box here. We got the front. We got the side here with some print that's hard to read because of the lighting. And we've got the top. We've got the other side. Let's see it that way. There we go. Got some nice character art there. And we got the bottom, which actually shows the toy version, which is also out, I think. There you go. That's the box. All right, let's take a look at the contents inside. What we've got is a pretty bare bones kit here. We've got the collector's card, no transformation brochure. That's something that you have to do with the QR code on the box. You've got the main figure, and you've got Aimless here, the Targetmaster. And you've got one additional face for Misfire. So there you have it, fairly simple. Let's move on to the review. And yoink! We've got Misfire here with his little buddy, Aimless. Soon after popping this guy out of the box, I ran into a bit of a problem. I was fidgeting with the hands, mostly the right hand. And as you can see in this turntable shot, the right hand is missing because the right hand just popped off. As you can see in this picture here, the ring that the screw attaches cracked in about the 12 o'clock position. And I guess that just allowed it to twist right off over the washer, which is too narrow for this application in my opinion. So that's something that I didn't think should happen because third party has been doing hands for years, and X-Transbots, if you've been following them for a while, or Keith's Fantasy Club, I guess it was, they used to actually specialize in making more articulated hands for third party toys. So I really kind of feel it's inexcusable that they didn't execute the design better. I'm no designer myself, but I think it may have been just the fact that they needed a wider washer on the end of that screw. So that's what I put in place, and I added super glue, and I hope those hands will last for a while, but I really do think that's a weak part of the design so far. Oh, the other thing is that the left hand, I thought I was going to be golden now that the right hand was fixed. And then I took a look at the left hand, and I found that the left hand ring, even though I hadn't pulled on that hand as much, it was already cracked. So I don't know if they were both cracked right out of the box and it's just a materials issue, but it shouldn't have been cracked like that in my opinion. There is a curious difference in how Misfire handles Aimless between the original Transformers cartoon and the Japanese, the Headmaster series. In Transformers, we actually see him handle a weapon before he becomes a Targetmaster with his right hand. So I think that's a miss on XTB's part, not including that weapon from the original cartoon and having him be able to hold that in his hand in a solid grip. Later, when he becomes a Targetmaster, the gag is that Aimless is named Aimless because he just shoots all over the place and is literally a wild cannon. So as far as I saw, Misfire never handles him in anything less than a two-handed grab as like a sight gag. Now in the Japanese series, it's all business. Once he's a Targetmaster, that Targetmaster is actually an extension of his arm, which is why XTB actually made it so the Targetmaster would attach to the end of Misfire's arm without a hand. So that's G1 Japanese accurate. I can accept that, but I thought it was very weird when I first saw it. So if you didn't know that, that's why. So the little dude Aimless, he's really nicely done. Good paint. The only complaint that I really have about him is that there is die cast, and his legs here, these thighs are die cast, the barrels are die cast, and that's a cool look and feel, but it adds extra weight that really makes it hard for Misfire to hold him in his hand. So if this had been lighter material, then perhaps we could have had a regular just grip with no tab-in system for Aimless to sit in his hand. But as it is right now, you know, it's going to be a precarious situation trying to get hand pose with this as a gun. So that's I think an unnecessary step they made in trying to make this thing more premium. But it is a cool looking guy. The paint's nice, like I said. And let me get him transformed. You can see him in the Targetmaster mode. So he does look cool, and it's not a extremely hard transformation, but I had to reacquaint myself with all the stuff. The arms tab in, which is nice, and it looks cool. And this guy looks pretty darn awesome. For what he is, I'm not going to say I'm in love with the way XTB executed the design. It's not quite anime enough for me, but you know, it's what we've got, and it's the only time this guy has been made as a Masterpiece character. So this is the only option as of right now. We've got some die cast here on the chest. Is this die cast? Yeah, die cast here. We've got nice blue translucent cockpit lid here, which opens that way. There we go. Tabs in there at the waist. We've got a head that looks up. No side to side. I don't know why we just can't have a ball peg on almost everybody's head. That would just make it infinitely more posable. I do really like the red visor that they gave him, the nice metallic sheen that they gave that. That's a really nice touch. His articulation, these wings are attached to the back of his arms, so they have to move with him. And there can be collisions because of the various wings that are a part of him. But he's got that 360 spin. He's got the bicep swivel. He's got a 90-degree, what is that, double elbow? Yeah, double elbow. So that's good. Like I said, the hands are not great, but they do have this hinge so you can open up the palm. And as you can see, that's where the screw and the washer are. It's got index finger with so much articulation, and then the 3 fingers are attached together, so they do not have independent articulation. The thumb has this single pivot here, and then it's got some pivots here, so it's got it's got a few pieces of articulation there, so you can do some various thumb work, but it's not on a ball peg either, which I think would have been better for posing, but it may not be very stable, which is probably why they didn't do it. Like I said, I'm not a designer, so I am just popping off here. Let's see, he's got, this is where the canopy has to pop off, pop open rather, in order to get that ab crunch. Otherwise, it connects in to give it that clean look on the back. His waist pivot also means that that has to come loose. So he does pivot there. These wings are also in the way, so you have to be careful of those. I would say probably, because oh, actually that might be die cast. However, don't trust the die cast. So make sure you clear that part of the backpack or waist pack rather, fanny pack. Yeah, he's got a fanny pack. That's what he's got. So he's got the waist swivel. He's got hip flaps here, and they go, wow, okay, that one's a little scary to move. Let me move that first. All right, so they go up, the flaps go out, and he can do the Van Damme. He can't kick back fully though, because these are not skirts. This is where the fanny pack is. Oh, that fanny pack moves. Oh, interesting. Okay. Don't know if that'll be good for anything, but there we go. Actually, that's not going to help much. Okay, if any. So, no kickback. So it can bend. He can bend his knee more than, almost 180. Let's see. Yeah, he can collapse it like completely. So in that sense, he can be made to look like he's running, but in a very limited fashion. He's got a thigh swivel, or hip swivel rather. This is part of the transformation. He's got this double knee. Yeah, he's got seems to be kind of a, he's got a double knee. I don't know if it's supposed to open up all that way, but there's that. His foot tilt, there you go, goes up, and not much down, just a couple clicks or so. And then ankle tilt, he really has, what is it, a toe tilt, not a full ankle. Not a whole lot of ankle tilt at the back of the heel here, but he does have this toe tilt, so there's that. And let's see, what else can we talk about? Oh, the shoulder joint. He's got a butterfly, so there you go. That's good. Yeah. Oh, one last thing. The shoulder movement itself there's this wing that you got to worry about, or move anyway, and it does max out at this 45-degree angle here. And it's got this L kind of bracket here that is the shoulder joint, which makes me a little nervous. Now, alt mode. All right, I have one correction to make before we proceed with the transformation. I was watching the official transformation video from X-Transbots. You can find that in the description below, as well as this in video link here. But Misfire can hold the gun with his hand. It doesn't tab in, it doesn't have a tab system, but they showed him holding the gun, which made me retry him holding the gun, and he can hold it. There's some limitations though. It is not actually in there solidly, so there's that. And he can hold it like at an angle, he can pivot it, but see, the weight starts to pull his arm down at a certain point. So it's not good for all poses, but he can hold it in his hand. So just wanted to make that correction. I needed to make that correction. It's still not a full satisfying tab system. As a matter of fact, when you look at the hand, you can see that it was engineered with a slot system here. At least that's what it looks like to me, but there is no tab for a slot on this gun. So there you go. That's the truth. So I'm transforming this guy, and I wanted to call out a part that I was concerned about when I came to it, and that's this thin part here with this black rod. It's supposed to slide down this rod for the transformation, and it did not move readily. So I looked at it, and it looks like there's some lube or something on there that looks like it's kind of dried. So I was concerned about trying to force this without more lubrication. So I applied some on the left side here, the right side here, and it moves better. But I'm going to reapply because, as you can see, it's still, and I'm doing this one-handed so it doesn't help, but it still sticks some. And I think this is a part that you should just be careful of as you're manipulating it to transform. I'm using this lube, which is actually a food grade lube, and which means that you can use it on things in the kitchen, like appliances. I got this on Amazon. So I'm going to reapply to the slide here, and that'll make it better, at least. So just a word to the wise, be careful. I think that's something to be concerned about. I did not know if I was going to be able to make this guy's alt mode work. The transformation is complex, just to put it out there, and if you added some oil to a couple of parts like I did, the oil wasn't super slippery, but it made things worse in regards to trying to figure out how this thing all pieces together. So definitely watch the X-Transbots transformation video that I've got in the description. And if you're not satisfied with that, if that doesn't help you out enough, there's another one also by X-Transbots that I'll also put in the description. But I personally like the one that's actually in, I'm assuming, Chinese, versus the other one that doesn't have any narration at all. So look into that. But the oil still may be beneficial for those two sliding parts. And we got this little guy too, and he can go in here in this spot on the top. And now you've got your Targetmaster in his alt mode with his Targetmaster on top. And I am not a huge fan overall of this release, but I can't deny that they pulled off this alt mode. I love the way the angles look on camera. They actually look better right on camera than they do in person, but even in person, they just got that cool, weird design that went from the Transformers in the original G1 series, and it pulls off that anime look here on camera. So kudos to XTB for this alt mode. This alt mode does look really cool. And give you the side profile here. Give you the back there. There you are. And the other side. I do feel pretty accomplished actually having been able to transform this thing. Give you a shot of the underside. There you go. Landing gear there. This is something that you may not see, I didn't see in the transformation videos, but these wheels here, you know, it's kind of sketchy to move them, but there is a little notch inset here. If you can see that little highlight of a square inside the leg of that wheel, that landing gear, there is a little notch here on the silver cowling that if you just put it up like this, straight up like I thought you were supposed to, then these landing gear just want to collapse when you try to set it down. You know, if they're moving forward, but then look at that, they just collapse. So what you need to do is actually get this thing so that it notches onto that little peg. And that was a little scary to do because I wasn't sure how much bending I could do, because that landing gear is, I believe, plastic, not actual die cast. So just be aware of that and be careful, but then you do have usable landing gear at that point. Oh, one other thing, so that you know that you're not alone if this starts driving you crazy. These little fillers right here are really, really fiddly to actually position. So just be patient with it. Try it again and again. Try to, I found that if you actually, open that up, if you are placing the nose, then you need to have those fillers in place. So they're not up, they're not down. I mean, they're down, but they're not up here. And they've got a little, it's very hard to see it in this camera angle, but there's a little notch underneath here that a little peg is supposed to go into. And so if you kind of angle this down to set it, see how it just got popped up right there? It got popped up because of that little peg not matching up. So just hold that down. You might have to take a look at it from the underside, but you kind of just got to massage it into place and then see if you can get these points to match up as well as you can get them. Let me put this canopy down. Oops. And this side is popped up a little bit, if you can see that. So you just got to kind of massage it into place, see if you can just get it to sit there and look like it's in place, even if it's not really. And there you go, it's mostly good. So there you have it. All right, and next we've got to look at whether this is actually MP scale, according to the Mike Lorber Freelance Graphics MP scale chart. So if we show one of our standard comparison characters here, Optimus Prime, against the size that Misfire shows up on the freelance graphics chart, you can see that he's almost the same size as Optimus Prime, which blew my mind. I thought he was going to be significantly shorter than Optimus Prime. Just got kind of that impression. I don't know exactly why, but it was an upsetting of expectations, and we're going to see if the toys hold true to that. So we have our standard scale comparison figure, MP10 Optimus Prime, and I'm going to bring in MP44 here for the first time for a scale comparison test to show that they are about the same size. They're very, very close to the same size, and therefore I'd say that they're equivalent, MP44 and MP10, as far as scale is concerned, and we're going to see how Misfire compares. And without even bringing in a level, we can see that he is not measuring up to either MP44 or MP10. Right off the bat, we can just say he is a little bit too small, according to the freelance graphics scale chart, to be exact masterpiece scale. Now, I actually thought that Misfire would be smaller than Optimus Prime, even smaller than this. So I'm going to say that this is good. It's the only representation we've got. It looks nice, and it's going to do the job. But just for fun, if we wanted to bring in the MP scale ruler and see where this guy matches up exactly, top of his head is there. He's coming to like the mid of Optimus Prime's faceplate. So that was MP10. How about MP44? If we bring him to MP44, top of his head to MP44 is also at the faceplate. A little bit lower maybe. That would make sense, right? A little bit lower on Optimus's faceplate for MP44. So there you have it. Not exactly to scale according to the FLG chart, but good enough, in my opinion. In summary, I like MX-LXI Ballistic from X-Transbots more now than when I got it. I was unsure about it when I got it. It was going to be in my collection unless it was catastrophic, but this is definitely a character that I want to have in my Japanese G1 collection. And there are some things that are not great about it, but overall, it's going to be a part of my collection. So if we were to actually give ratings to this, and this is not super scientific, so please don't roast me over the coals for like exactly what my criteria are, but we've got 7 categories that I can give some kind of feedback on. We've got articulation, we've got the brochure, which for me is actually a big deal. We've got cartoon accuracy, we've got engineering for the transformation, we've got materials, we've got MP scale accuracy, and we've got playability. So articulation, as you saw, was decent. There were certain things that it missed, such as no heel tilt, no side head tilt, and no back kick extension. The back kick extension is a pretty desirable characteristic. So articulation, 8.5. Brochure. Now brochure is something that I think my collection needs because a QR code that leads to a video on how to transform this guy or see what's in the package or what was in the package is not something that I can keep very easily. The brochures I can keep with the accessories. So the fact that some of the third party are going towards these QR codes is not ideal for my collecting. So I'm knocking it down to a 5 out of 10 for this score. 10 would be if they had the brochure. 5 out of 10 is that they've got some documentation, but it's not something that I can easily collect. Cartoon accuracy, while I'd like the character styling, the face to be a little bit more serious, a little bit more like an IDW or I think it was Studio Ox kind of look, that's the way I'd like my Transformers to look, but I can't really fault this for its cartoon accuracy, so I'm just going to say it's a 9.5 out of 10. Engineering for the transformation has a couple of things that I don't care for. One of the things was that I really actually had a hard time getting the hands into the arms and then retrieving them. I actually had to use this kind of spudgery here. You can see it's got a hook on it, and that was so I could pull the hands out of the arms once they had been stored. The other thing is the sketchy arm sliders. Because they're thin, they make me nervous, so I took a full point off of those. They just seem like they're a potential weak point in the whole toy, and actually transforming it. What if you break it? I mean, how do you fix it? I don't know. So it seems like a lot of risk for such a thin part. So overall, engineering 8.5. Materials, broken hand connectors right out of the box. So I'm faulting XTB for the actual materials that the hands are made out of, because those rings that hold the hand onto the arm, they cracked, both of them. So materials are a 9. MP scale accuracy, as we just saw, is a little short according to the FLG chart. I'm going to give it 9.5. It's close enough for my collection. And playability, I knocked this down severely because the feature of the Targetmaster does not work, I believe, as it should for both the American Transformers cartoon and the G1 Japanese cartoon. G1 Japanese cartoon, they knocked it out of the park. It becomes an extension of Misfire's arm, which it does in the cartoon. However, for the original G1 Transformers TV show, the Targetmaster can be held in the hand, but there's no way to actually secure it in the hand. And as we saw, the weight of the Targetmaster actually will force the arm down at a certain point. So I feel that it's a fail on the original Transformers cartoon side for playability, while it does actually nail it for the Japanese side. So since there are 2 different characters, quote unquote, this could be, I'm gonna knock it down by half. So that's a 5 out of 10. Overall, it's about an 8 out of 10. If you like this character, if you want it in your collection, you may have some frustrations, but it is a cool addition to your collection. The alt mode just knocks it out of the park. A little bit gappy, a little fidgety, but once you get it massaged into place, it just looks amazing. All right, thanks for tuning in for this review of MX-LXI Ballistic from X-Transbots, their version of G1 Misfire with his Targetmaster Aimless, which appears in both the original Transformers cartoon as well as the Japanese G1 extension cartoon. And for the transformation, if you want help, I recommend watching one or both of those X-Transbots official transformation videos. They're in the description. And if you want one that shows explicitly from alt mode back to bot mode, I found one on Influence's interest channel, and the link is on screen here and in the description. Before we finish the video, again, I want to thank Musical Artist Ever for the music track playing right now, and at the beginning of the review titled Not a Robot. Again, don't forget to give them a listen on Spotify and a follow here on YouTube and on Instagram at Ever the Music. All right, until next time, be good to each other, be well, and happy collecting, everybody.